Greetings, pupils. It's Silent Signs from I Dream of Indie, and class may no longer be in session, but you're not going anywhere, because today we are taking a look at White Day, a Labyrinth Named School from developer Sonnori Corp. This version of the survival horror game was originally released on PC in 2017 and is just now coming to the Nintendo Switch. So grab your notepads and pens, open up your textbook to chapter 13, and let's delve into the plot of White Day. You play as a young man in high school named Hee-min Lee, who enters the school on the eve of a holiday called White Day. If you're unfamiliar, it is a holiday celebrated a month after Valentine's Day, where you reciprocate the love gifts of your beau. Our protagonist intends to hide a box of candies for his crush, but ultimately ends up stuck in the school and between our world and the spirit world. Once the doors are closed and the lights are low, you will encounter all manners of horrific sights, not the least of which is the school janitor. It's up to you to discover all of the school's dark secrets and, perhaps, if you're lucky, escape with your life. You play as our protagonist from the first-person perspective, and you are virtually defenseless. The only thing you have working in your favor is the ability to run and hide. You will have a map to help you navigate the crooked corridors of the school, with a marker for your desired destination. What the map won't tell you, however, is where the janitor is lurking, and he's always prowling around the next corner. Once you're in his sights, you have no choice but to run and hide. If he catches you, you're in for the beating of a lifetime, or perhaps the afterlife time. A death will certainly set you back on your quest, so beware of where you last saved your game. White Day offers a wide range of difficulty options, featuring everything from a very easy for those who just want a little ghost story, all the way up to hell mode for those who enjoy torture. With your backpack, you'll have an inventory system to manage, and there are a great deal of collectibles you can acquire along your travels. You'll also encounter and interact with some of the other students at this high school. Dialogue choices with these characters can produce different endings. Choose wisely. And what's a survival horror game without a few puzzles? Much of what you'll be doing in the high school after dark, when you're not running from the janitor, is gathering clues and bits of paper in order to solve rather rudimentary puzzles. The numbers and patterns do change on every run, so all the more reason you won't want to get caught and start your run again. Most of the time, the greatest challenge of these puzzles is the time limit bestowed upon you. Your map is marked with key locations, but that doesn't mean you'll know what to look for and how long it will take you to get there. Logic isn't always on this game's side either, so beware. As a fan of the survival horror genre in general, I did find this game enjoyable and packed to the brim with all sorts of specters and spirits. While I do know it's not uncommon for games of this genre to leave their protagonist defenseless, I do wish he had some means to fight back, even if it was only with tricks and traps. Controls on Switch also left a little bit to be desired. While running around and exploring the school worked just fine, it was the interactions with objects and opening doors that left me a little bit frustrated. The cursors were too slow to keep up with my frantic running. I will also admit that some of the puzzles did have me looking for a guide, especially some of the number puzzles. It was a little bit difficult to read the words on a chalkboard when they were written in a language that I certainly did not understand, so memorizing and solving those puzzles became quite a chore. Moving on to the Grotesque Graphics, I think they did a pretty good job bringing this spooky title to the Nintendo Switch. While it is clear that some sacrifices were made, such as watching our character glide from side to side and front to back in front of a mirror, or taking a look at some of the textures on the floor and walls, the game ran smoothly enough to keep me engrossed in this ghastly experience. Soundtrack and sound design were also entirely eerie. The moaning and groaning of the title track really helps set the tone for this one, and you know you're in for some real chills and thrills when it kicks back in during gameplay or when you hear the clinking and clanking of the janitor's keys. This title is all about the tone. In fact, that's where most of the scares come from. It's not necessarily the presence of the ghosts themselves, but the dark corridors they're lurking down, the suspense created by the musical compositions, or even the appearance of a character suddenly out of nowhere. The title is fully voice acted and you can choose from the original Korean or English. White Day will be a horrific addition to your survival horror collection. While some of the controls and puzzles do have their idiosyncrasies, it doesn't detract from the fact that this is one of the more terrifying titles I've played in quite some time. With the collectibles, unlockables, varying degrees of difficulty, even outfits to change, I can see myself wandering these corridors for eternity.
Sometimes, I think the teachers are the ghosts of the people who died in this school.
They are watching us to someday make us their next sacrifice.
Even at this very moment.
Thank you so much for supporting clickbait-free content right here at I Dream of Indie, and we would now like to pay tribute to the brave indie warriors and legends that make this content possible. At the Indie Warriors tier, we have Bill, Adriana Amato, CJR, Julian Colbus, Ray Lynn, Marky Mint, Dave Harp, PQube, Lex Noyle, Christian Cruz, PSC, Solaru C, Chic Geek, Ancha277, Acrophobe, Raphael Andrioli, Marty DMF, and Randy Pinball. At the Indie Legends tier, Nathan Moore, Skepticism, Jen Rose, Chris Jackson, Mr. W, Blue Francis 14, The Beefarinis, Business Cody, Chiron, Jace Glover, King of the Hatch, Ophidian Mind, Lord Metroid, Seacoil, and Larkison. Thank you so much for everything that you do for independent developers, publishers, and for I Dream of Indie. Help us bring a voice to the voiceless ones in gaming.